This video is going to be pretty much just a helpful video on motherhood, and I want you to remember that when I'm doing this voice recording, this is genuinely me in the middle of my motherhood break. I'm a homeschool mum, I'm a mother of 4, I'm a prioritizer. I do everything in my home solo as the mother. I don't have outside help, so I'm the right person to talk to you about this. I don't earn an income from YouTube, revenue from putting these videos up, but what I will do is tell you the truth. And the truth is that your motherhood is probably a little bit stressed out right now. But that's just, honestly, if we're going to be real about it, it's really just motherhood in general. Like, motherhood's always been like that. It hasn't really shifted or changed. I think the elephant in the room is probably just people's actual health. People's genuine health and how your children feel and how you feel and what's going on inside these little people's bodies. I feel like the elephant in the room isn't so much the mental load of motherhood or all this made up mumbo jumbo. The real question you need to ask yourselves is, how are they feeling, you know? And it is kind of a difficult terrain because no one's ever traveled this before, where, like, yes, you can make excuses for bad behaviour, negative behaviour. Like, I fully think that children should have discipline, and that's great. But there is a time to kind of also know when not to and when to, because there's definitely moments where you can totally let people know really calmly and find that calm in your child and in yourself to really manipulate motherhood into being the best time that you're ever going to have. Because I have a lot of people that are like kind of seeming like they maybe aren't okay, and I think people assume that people aren't okay in motherhood, and I don't think that's good either. I think the good thing is to kind of go, well, actually, just because someone else finds it somewhat difficult doesn't mean other women are. So here is some top tips that I have for you as the mother that doesn't genuinely find this difficult. I didn't find it difficult enough, so I found other things to do with my day, like homeschool, educate, delegate, control, organise. We have a toddler and I'm still able to do it. So what do I do with a toddler, you ask, with homeschool? How does mothers avoid burnout when they're doing like quite a lot? Well, the truth is you may do really well in one area and other areas might fail. You might find that your house is a little messier at times of the day and that your load is physically busy. It is a physical... the manipulation of doing home educating and running a home is not an easy feat on your body. So keeping things hygienic and running smoothly while also educating, well done if you can do that. But if you can't, just do one thing well that day. That's what I say. Right now we have stuff out. We have pencils out. We have rubbers, sharpeners. We have all our books out. We have the board out, the blackboard. And we are in the middle of doing the Egyptian Empire at the moment, the pharaohs of Egypt. Now, my toddler is currently playing with a ruler, and he's finding out what happens to it when he puts it under the door. He's just playing with it. It's cute. A lot of mums get overstimulated by stuff being everywhere. It's a clean mess, technically. Kind of just... The only thing, like sink dishes, like, I get it. I get that it collects. I get that you want to control and you want to go do the washing. You want to go do all the stuff. You don't want your kids to have a break because perhaps they're fighting. Kids fight. Honestly, it's kind of an opportunity for learning during the breaks as well. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do English and maths with your children, but I'm not saying to switch off during breaks. The difference between a home educator and a mother who doesn't home educate is that she's always present and she's aware that she has to be. So my biggest tip to you is just basically don't switch off. You can totally shift things. Like, if you need to have a bath and you don't have a breastfed child, Well, get up. My opinion is you should probably get up earlier, or get up slightly earlier, have a quick shower. That shower can just wake them up if they're like sleeping in. But if they're early wakers, I don't advise that. And I actually advise to have your shower or your bath like after bedtime. Sometimes to do everything that you want to do, it only takes courage and determination. There's literally nothing you can't do in a day. 24, that's why this 24 hours in a day thing is actually kind of true, guys. Like, what you believe you can achieve, like, you can get it done. But you also have to have grace for yourself when you can't in a day. Not every day is going to be progress. That is true for homeschool as well as a school environment. Nothing has changed. It's just that you don't see it. The difference between homeschool and school is out of sight, out of mind. Purely the mother that can pop the child out of sight. You literally just want a break. You just don't want to parent. You want a break from being a parent. That's literally what school is. It's giving you a babysitter. So you need a break. And by all means, everyone deserves to have a break sometimes. I choose to have mine when I'm dead. No, I choose to have my breaks intelligently. If sometimes they're doing a reading group, I may lay down if it's a little kids reading, and I may just listen and have a little bit of a rest. Rarely, very rarely, but that might be if I'm sick, you know. That's a great piece of, yes, listening to you. What's up? We're going to include this. We're going to talk about listening to children when they come up. Hello. He just needed my attention for a moment. Hello. We're talking about how to get good behaviour out of children during breaks. Make sure they understand that the break is a privilege. If we have bad behaviour, we can always go into a learning activity and skip it. That has been my biggest tip to just children behaviour in general. Make sure you stick to what you say and mean what you say, and don't confuse children, because children need to know that you are leading them and that you mean what you say when you mean it. Don't ever confuse children. I hate it when I hear mothers that are so confusing and trying to manipulate them. No, just be direct and speak to them as an adult, and you're going to get an adult and a mature human. A mature human can hear what you say and know what you mean. That just encourages a positive relationship, because you're not mucking around, you're being honest. If you keep doing that, there won't be much more of a break. It's so good for children to earn their breaks and earn what they get to do, like give them rewards as well. Don't act like you need to be multitasking things. Don't act like you need to be on top of everything that probably is a clean mess. If we're talking a delay on some washing, I'm sure that you can wear a different item of clothing. I'm sure you're not going to run out of clothes. I'm sure your children have other options that day. We do 1 day a week, like 2 days a week washing. And my husband does his own washing. I highly encourage that. That doesn't mean sometimes you can't do it yourselves, ladies. I think that the main message is that from somebody who doesn't generate an income, giving you helpful advice, it's to take breaks, it's to take grace for yourself, it's to not take it too seriously. Not taking it too seriously, but have the courage to correct. I feel like children that get correction, make sure they don't take it too critically themselves, and that they just, often my children like to self-correct. They're like, oh, I need the rubber. Oh. And they get down. It's like, that's good. You've recognised that you made an error. It's good. The home systems don't need to be perfect. It's not going to be easy on some days, and those are the days that you need to take a break, 45 minutes, have lunch. I feel like the hardest thing with homeschool is forgetting to eat. Honestly, finding times to take care of yourself as the leader. And make make sure it's not right before bed, because your energy will probably be quite low. The one thing that I need to tell people who are considering homeschool is that if you're considering homeschool, consider again. If you don't have a strong enough reason as to why you need to do it, don't do it, honestly. If it's a safety issue and you want to keep your child safe and they're currently not safe in the system for whatever reason, maybe they seem to attract a kind of behaviour in humanity that's deplorable. Okay, maybe there's some violence that you're worried about. I would say that unless your children are being violently attacked, I would say that there is a better way than sending them to school. Like, there is a better way. You could hire a tutor, you could help yourself out. There's other ways instead of homeschooling if you can't actually do it adequately. Hiring help is a great one. Like, you could hire a homeschool educator for your home. Like, if you're rich, you're set. Just do that. Don't think that you need to put yourself in this situation where you home educate, because I don't think anyone has. I think it's good to have the patience and build the patience that it takes and it requires of you. I honestly don't think every mother has what is needed. That doesn't mean they can't develop it out of desperation. I believe that if you're desperate, you have no choice. Your child is unsafe in the system. Like, they can't generate a kind of behaviour from others that's going to protect them. They're not going to be safe because no one can watch what's going on, because the system doesn't know how to deal with the demands that it has now, right? So I just say, like, that know your reasons why you're doing it. If it's not a strong enough reason, I would say that schools probably, they're equally as good. Like, there's pros and cons to each, and there's no real reason to homeschool unless you absolutely have to, because it does mean more stress for the mother, yeah? You understand? This is actually the busiest you'll ever be in your life. Like, you'll never, like, but that doesn't mean it's not fun. Do you understand? Like, it's fun. This is so much fun. There is so much joy. It is an amazing experience. I don't want to stop you from doing it, but just know that, you may not have time for people anymore outside of the home. You may divert all your energy into your routines and into your systems that make it enjoyable and joyful. Other people don't need to understand that, but what they do need to understand is that these are the tips. If you must do it, cook your dinner in the morning. Do your washing one day a week. Don't be like always constantly picking at stupid things that don't need doing. There is no time to divert energy into things that don't genuinely need it. Run your dishwasher, run a vacuum. There's not enough time to be sweeping. Just doesn't work. Sweeping is a waste of time. So divert your energy, delegate some things. Yeah, delegate some things. That won't hurt you, ladies. If you are genuinely seeking to homeschool, delegate some things. Sometimes my son, he cooked some French toast yesterday. The other thing is to, like I said, cook some simple, basic, very basic. Keep your meals extraordinarily basic. Cook the meat portion in the morning. Just always be like a couple of steps ahead. Have a positive attitude when you ask your children to do stuff. Be like, okay, time's up. It's time for mathematics now. Can you go get your workbooks out? Make sure they can know where their workbooks are. Make sure they know which pile of books is theirs and how to find their own books. Get their pencil out. Get their stuff out. Make sure they know where it is. Make sure that they're proud of their work. Make sure you give out stickers at the end of the day. Make sure that they're motivated and they're happy. I've noticed a lot of kids like getting ticks on their work. Make sure you're giving the ticks. Don't be not checking their work. If you're not checking their work, that's not learning. In my opinion, that's my biggest pet peeve. So if you're considering doing homeschool but you just want to put them on a computer, no, that's not learning. That poor child's being ignored, and that's a form of emotional neglect. And you're replacing it with a computer? An online platform? No. That's just my opinion. That will never change. I think that there is something to be gained from a real human experience, because when a child needs your support, they may need you to be patient. I feel like and explain stuff, and I feel like it's harder for a computer to really get to the core ways of the way your child may learn. The computer won't know how to explain that. You're still going to need to explain it anyway, so you may as well just get the book. Anyway, enough from me for today. But look, if you have a house full of odd jobs and just random stuff, the sink full of dishes, this is normal. This is real. Toddlers playing with the recycling bin items. As long as they're safe, check what's going on that's safe. But a homeschool room can be an absolute mess. You may have the most beautiful homeschool room. As soon as you have a toddler in there, they will bring the toys and throw them at the other child's books. That's why sometimes a higher table in the kitchen area is actually the best table to be at, to keep the toddler away from their workbooks, because often you'll have a child running around with a workbook with a pencil in their hand, stealing the... Toddlers like to steal stuff and run around. They like to stop learning. They like to scream and cry, chuck tantrums, steal the rubber, eat the rubber. You want to be keeping there might be some days where you might want to pop a show on if it's really that bad, and pop the toddler in another room. I don't do that very often, but look, if you're having a desperate day, do that. Pop some favourite movie, whatever their toddler loves the most. If it's Minions or whatever the show is, there's always something fun. My kids really like certain shows that irritate me. So I try to stay away from those shows, because the behaviour in the shows kind of makes for a better environment if it's avoided. So right now I'm going to go cook some tacos. Goodbye to you all for now. And remember that if you're just serving your family through homeschool, you may find that that's probably all you can achieve. That's your choice. Love your choice. Love the joy in it. You get a lot of time to get to know these people. You get a stronger relationship with your kids. There's all of these positives. They're still worth every penny of patience that you're going to need. And that's honestly it. It's just patience. So, yeah, if you want to homeschool, you can comment below and tell me what your intentions are. I can have a chat about it and talk to me in the comments below, or not really sure, you can hit me up on Facebook if you like, but you might need to comment below because the name is different. But really, just enjoying the journey and plodding along through the curriculum that you've selected. And honestly, I don't think the curriculum matters more than the attitude that's allowed to fester in the home. If you're just be direct with your kids about how their attitudes are more important than anything else, than their beliefs and, believing in themselves and all of that. I feel like that helps a lot to their ability to be confident and want to try. Yeah. All right. Bye for now. I love all of my homeschool mummies. I love all my stay-at-home mummies. You don't have to homeschool to be my friend. You don't have to homeschool to be a better mum. Sometimes I've seen mums fail at this, and it's just because of putting too much pressure on themselves. So make sure today you're not putting so much pressure on this whole concept of how to do it and looking too deeply into watching videos about how other people do it, because a lot of those people are really overselling how often they use that technique. They very rarely use that one. Most of the time they're just winging it, really. People act super confident because they want to sell you something, you understand? I'm not trying to sell you something. I believe in you. If you want to do it, give it a go. The only thing stopping you is you. It's as hard as you can make it. You need to make sure your children can read to a high level. You need to make sure they can write. How do you do that? Doesn't really matter. I don't care how you do it, as long as you do it. As long as you're teaching your children maths, English, science, history, and that they can read, write, and do basic math. I don't really care what people do. Honestly, you do what you need to do to get your child ready for life. That is the most important thing. Okay? But also, they could be the smartest person in the world, but be like a deadbeat, like, adult one day. Like, their heart, how are they as a human? How do they treat people? I feel like that's more valuable, because we've got a whole world full of people who are pretty aggravating to be around. I don't want my children to aggravate. I don't want honestly, I just don't want lazy children. I don't want lazy, pathetic people who thrive on making other people do things for them. I want independent children who can be glad that they're in a position to do things themselves. I want them confident, but I don't want them lazy. No. And I get the feeling that my children are not, but the goal of parenting, again, is that you can do everything yourself, cool, but are you kind, or do you treat other people and gossip about other people? Have you got to gossip a child because you were a really good mum friend group, right? And you showed the child how to gossip, or you just are a gossiper? If you're a bad person, you're probably going to create bad people. And there's nothing worse than a whole bunch of children that went to the school system, but they learned how to do some really good gossiping and really good attacking of other people and bullying. I think what we want is kind people that aren't just acting like a goody-goody, but they actually are. I don't care if you yell at me. I care about how you act. So I want children that can act really good. I don't mind if they get a bit angry sometimes, because life is a bit of anger when you're not feeling well constantly. So I think the real trick in homeschool isn't that we have perfect children that are like protected from like feeling anything at all. We kind of want children who are like have good survival instincts that tell them that, okay, so you yell. My children sometimes yell when they're not well, and they can be offended by their sister, their brother, even their dad, or even the mum. They may not feel great every day. You may want to yell at someone because it's hard. Because living and life, in case anyone hasn't known, life is hard. In fact, whole religions have been created from life being suffering. I mean, Buddhism was created by a prince who he left his family. Why did he leave his family? Because his family wanted to just be only ever talking about things that are good and easy. Nothing of anything in the real world was presented to him as a child. So he got a very narrow view of the world. And when he went to go see the world, he was like, wow, man, this is not what I thought it was. So you're allowed to be sad sometimes. In my home, I don't want perfect goody-goodies. What I want is people who care about their actions more than their words. I think actions have always been more powerful than the words. So yeah, like if you're worried about yourself doing homeschool and maybe you've yelled that day, or maybe you just had a negative experience with anything in your life that's led to homeschool, because let's face it, a lot of women were gaslighted before they became homeschool educators. They were gaslighted by a system that would like to turn them into the bully, even though they were victims. Do you understand? We're all victims to a system that broke, because the behaviour is wildly different than it's ever been before. In schools, you've got the behaviour of teachers, the behaviour of principals, behaviour of children. It just seems really overwhelmingly bad. So what other choice was there than for good women and good mothers to run and take their children into their arms? So I think that when you're asking yourself, can I do this? It's not, can I do this? It's like, is this the right thing? Is this what was designed for all of us? What's more important? going into a classroom full of people who are violent, nasty, including the teachers themselves, screaming at the children. They were screaming at them. Well, of course your child will be better off in the home. Of course, you need to remember, yes, academics matter. They absolutely do. Your academics are important. But what's more important than being home? Whether or not your sink is full, remind yourself always of your why. Why are you in this position? Or why do you want to be in this position? If you want to homeschool, you may need to hear this. It may look like a sink of dishes, but you remember your why. It may be a busy life, but know your why. Why do you do it? Because you love your children. You are sacrificing your time to teach them. You are sacrificing. Your systems have to be better, to be more organized. And this is proof that if people are like, you can't do something, no, you're only limited by your mind. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Anyway, bye for now. We're playing a bit louder now. So this video is done. I hope you all give it a go. Do your paperwork. Give it a go. Find your way. Communicate clearly with your moderators. But do it whatever way works for your children. And you will do greatness. You will. Say you will and you will. The worst thing that can happen is they can go back and you will be able to see when they need to go back if there's no progress. So it's not like you won't know. And you give it a go. You make sure you're consistent, always consistent, yeah? Always have a schedule and always have a time frame. Have your alarm set. Have your lunches regularly. Have a bath time set. Make sure you stick to bedtimes and make sure you stick to what do you do on your difficult sick days. How do you approach learning those days? And just do that. Because, let's face it, the benefit of homeschool is that they can be home learning even when they are sick. So we're going to be talking about this in another video. Bye for now. I love you all. I hope you're all doing greatness in your homes. And peace and love and light to everyone out there who is doing motherhood, whether you're doing it my way or you're doing it your way. It doesn't matter how you do it.